okay? Oh, somebody's got to be in there. Oh, call 911. Call 911. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 28 of The Variant Verdict. My name is Josh.
And I'm Sean.
Tonight we'll be doing the 2010 film
Macgruber. And also,
Exactly.
don't forget, if you haven't yet, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button. Give us
Yes.
a like, leave a comment, do what you want.
You will never miss a video.
Yeah. And so, yes, now we're obviously taking a look at a movie from 2010 it's a 10-year-old movie. But one other reason why we're busting this out is because I hear little rumors of a sequel possibly in the
My
works.
understanding is that they've been really working hard at getting a TV show off the ground with Will Forte reprising the role of Macgruber.
Yes.
And let's not forget, like, this all started from somewhere around 2005 or 6. They premiered it on SNL. Mm-hmm. They were very short skits. I think one of them featured Jonah Hill. In fact, I'll play a little clip while I'm talking about it from that. It became like kind of a cultural zeitgeist for a quick moment. It was like people really liked that character and that idea from Will Forte and the guys at SNL.
Yeah.
Then it became a full-length feature film, directed from Jerma. I can't pronounce his name, but he's a member of the Lonely Island Trio. He also directed Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Which,
Great movie.
If you haven't seen that movie, go watch that movie.
Yes, it's one of the best mockumentaries, if you will, that's out there. It's phenomenal.
No, it's fantastic, and I almost wish there were more of those.
And I feel like this is a movie I've wanted to talk about for a while. It's kind of a cult classic now. It bombed when it first came out.
Yes.
This is a movie that was made for about $10 million. Couldn't even recoup the cost of its own making, which blows my mind when you consider all the films that have come out that are considered duds. They've probably made their money and then some and still are considered flops. This is like a next level flop, which is crazy.
And I will blame that on advertising, because I'm not going to lie. When I first saw this movie, or when I first saw previews for this movie, I literally thought, I'm like, this looks like the dumbest movie I've ever seen. But I feel like it had the unfortunate ability of not being able to show you the comedy in the movie. It's not good for television. So you're not going to get what you can out of it. So their advertising was the hardest part. But and I didn't watch this movie right away. I spent a long time not watching this, avoiding it. People are telling me it's good. I'm like, nah. I was wrong. This movie is actually hilarious. And
I agree 100%.
It's quotable. Like, and there's something about it. Like, I can't say it's as good, but when it comes to a quotable SNL movie, it's hitting that family of Wayne's
Yeah, you
World.
know, when people talk about movies based off of SNL skits, you typically hear Night at the Roxbury, you hear Wayne's World, Blues Brothers, whatever have you. You don't really hear about Macgruber.
And you should.
And it's crazy because Macgruber is crazy good.
Yeah.
This is one of those comedies where the script lands it fires on all cylinders. The whole movie will get you like, it's a gut buster. It's hilarious. Like, it's a great comedy.
And it's quick. That's the thing. Joke. And the movie's also not even long. It only runs about an hour and a half, like the old school style. So it doesn't overstay its welcome.
It's got a great cast. You have Kristen Wiig. You have, obviously, Will Forte in the titular role of Macgruber. Then you also have Val Kilmer.
Yeah, who was actually, I liked him in this.
You have a whole group of WWE stars show up in this. I love the exchange between him and Jericho specifically. It's one of my favorites.
No, you had Jericho, Kane, Big Show, MVP, Great Khali,
Mark Henry.
Yep. I think that's it. But you just had this really quick moment of like all these wrestlers, and I'm a wrestling fan, so I was down. I liked it, and it was funny.
And Ryan Phillippe. You don't see the guy
Phillippe
much
too.
then, but back then when he was coming off of Cruel Intentions, he was
Great
a pretty
movie.
hot star. You know what I mean? He was doing big things in that time of his career.
Didn't I hear something where he almost blamed this movie for the downside of his career, the downfall of his career?
I find it's crazy to believe because I think people looking back, this will probably be one of his more memorable roles outside of Cruel Intentions.
And if they do a show or they do a sequel or anything like that, fucking Phillippe, come back, revitalize yourself.
And one of the things I love about a good comedy is when it tries to play serious, but it doesn't tell you when to laugh. It's kind of like you just laugh because of how serious it plays, but the dialogue is just ridiculous.
It's absolutely
and
ridiculous.
He's perfect, Ryan Phillippe, because when you put him next to a character like Macgruber,
such a contrast.
Yeah, like Macgruber is just like this fucking wild card. He's a play, obviously, on the character of MacGyver.
Yeah.
And then you have Ryan Phillippe, who's like the straight-laced agent between the two of them, like government agent.
Yeah.
It works well. Like, you need to have that, like, just like Elizabeth Hurley to Austin Powers.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wouldn't even say it's too far of a stretch to compare the two, because like Austin Powers, this movie does start off with Macgruber kind of resurrecting back his career.
It does.
And they point out, like, the things he, like, brings back, which is, like, when he starts going back into Macgruber mode towards the beginning, he puts his car stereo from the 80s
He's
back in
his car. He's
like,
got his
it reminds
80s car.
me almost of, like, that beginning with Austin Powers, where he's becoming reacquainted
Actually, I never
with
actually
society.
connected the two until right now. And yeah, I agree. That's definitely a good comparison.
And the villains are almost equally outlandish when you think of Dr. Evil and then the character of Cunt.
No, it's Cunth. But,
it's an obvious play on the word.
It's TH, so it's Cunth.
Cunth, yeah.
Yeah, Cunth.
So it's an obvious play on that word. So, I mean, like, they're not... I consider them cut from the same cloth.
No, exactly. And no, which they are... Yeah, and now more than I think about it, yeah, they are actually really similar in those senses. But, no, this movie doesn't give a shit who's watching it. Like, I can't say, like, oh, if you're, like, this demographic... Like, they made this movie almost like they didn't give a shit if it flopped. Like,
yeah, and I love that it's such a hard R, because it just, like... Such creative freedom to just go
they
balls
just go
to the
off.
walls, man.
Like, I swear to God, the funniest sex scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God, him and Kristen Wiig.
Oh, not even that. Also, the cemetery. Like, that was even
talking
funnier.
about the scene? Is that with Maya Rudolph?
Both of them. Both scenes.
Which, by the way, that's another cameo. Don't forget, Maya Rudolph plays his ex-wife who died in the flashback.
The revenge plot.
Yeah.
Both of those scenes, I cracked up. Like, I couldn't hold it back. That was hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, no, but I am... If you've never seen this before, and you actually had my mentality of it, where it was like, oh, that movie's gotta be so stupid... You're wrong.
Don't brush it off.
It is stupid. It's not like this is a smart movie, but you have to understand that this movie is supposed to be. And it's hilarious once you let back and just take it in.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree 100%. It's a movie, like I said, that I feel like you just don't hear a lot of people talk about. And I think it warrants a little bit more attention. You know what I mean?
Absolutely does. And
it's aged super well.
And I'm noticing even before this whole thing, I've been hearing more and more of it brought up. So it's definitely got almost like, I wouldn't say a resurgence, but like, yeah, close to it. Like, all of a sudden the movie's popping up again. Like, people are like, this movie's fucking amazing.
What's like the basic story of this movie? Like, essentially, Macgruber has to come back into action because that guy, Cunth, he's trying to obtain nuclear warheads.
Well, yeah, that's ultimately it. It's the most stereotypical, generic, like,
bring him out of retirement.
Agent, bring him out of retirement to seek a warhead that was stolen by a terrorist that has a relationship with with Macgruber, and they have a history, and they're like adversary. It couldn't be more generic, but I think, again, that's the point. Like, eye-rollingly, you can tell what the hell's going to happen.
Right from the get-go, this movie starts off with a song that plays. And remember, this is from the guy who did Lonely Island, and it has this whole song like, fucking Macgruber.
It's fucking awesome. It's awesome.
It's like, if you listen to the lyrics, they're hilarious, and you could tell, like, it's very much cut from the same cloth, especially from the guy who did Never Stopping.
Yeah.
I love that scene. You see him making the tennis ball bomb,
yeah.
which is an obvious play on the real MacGyver, because he did, like,
absolutely
outlandish stuff with, like, a piece of tinfoil, tennis ball, and a match, and you can make a bomb.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's hilarious. No, everything that they do... He's so, at the same time, like, you're watching him, and you keep thinking to yourself, he's fucking insane. And, like, that's the other thing that's great about it, is everyone surrounding him, like, he's the best. He's, like, no one else can do any better. Like, he's, he prevented an assassination from Jimmy Carter. But then when you see him actually work, it's like, what the fuck? How did you even do any of this? And he ends up doing it.
And it's, like, it's not even just Will Forte that's, like, the comedic backbone of this. Like Kristen Wiig,
she is
great.
amazing. Like the restaurant scene.
Well, she's in the coffee house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the coffee house
with the earpiece in her ear while they're doing a stakeout, and then she thinks that Macgruber's dying, and she's screaming.
Well,
and, like,
she's just
losing her
following
shit.
what he's telling her to do, and then so he starts screaming because he's getting shot at. So she starts screaming, and it's fantastic. And her delivery on after it was all over, just talking to everyone in the restaurant, like, oh, yeah, it was just fucking great. Like, no, I wish this movie came out like 10 years later. Then if it came out now, it would be fucking
like
boom.
Will Forte is like, obviously he's interested in reprising his role in this, and like I liked him at least for the first couple seasons of Last Man on Earth.
I love that show. That was a great show.
I think Will Forte is just awesome with his comedic timing. He can really like ham it up when he wants to, and it's hilarious. So I do see it being relevant now, and I do really hope it comes back. Like, I hope this makes people go back and watch this.
Hey,
you
man,
know?
if Bill and Ted can come back, this can. And I'm not knocking Bill and Ted. I like those movies, but who's really been dying for a Bill and Ted, you know?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
actually, with that, I mean, I saw the trailer today, and as goofy as it looks, I'm gonna totally go see that.
Hey, I'm all for it. It's cool seeing Alex Winter come back and do it. Any acting.
Yeah.
The guy's been off the radar for a while.
Like, I've always been a fan of that movie Freak, so I'm
There
glad
you
to
go.
see him coming back. And I like that movie, as ridiculous as it is. I like that movie, so.
But I think this movie is awesome. I think it has a really cut and dry plot, but which is perfect because it really gives you a chance to focus on just what the shit that they're saying.
Yeah.
And like I said, I love that it's a hard R. It deviates greatly from most of SNL's movies, where they're a little more tamer in the humor and the violence, even, or the language.
Oh, yeah.
This movie pushes all the boundaries, and I guess I could see why maybe older audiences at the time of its release just weren't feeling it. But I get it now. I think like it's fucking hilarious.
No, it absolutely is. But before we do go ahead and wrap this up, I gotta ask you, what is your favorite scene?
Oh man,
I mean, because it's got so
I already mentioned
goddamn
the
many.
Kristen Wiig scene, which I love.
Yeah.
Where she loses her shit in the coffee shop, but she's dressed as Macgruber, which
Yeah,
is even funny.
it's even better.
And I want to point out another Kristen Wiig honorable mention is the part where she does dress up as
Hossberger,
Hossfender or something.
Hossfender or something.
Yeah. She's like, they're like, oh well, we just killed the guy that has to go retrieve the codes. He's like, or did we?
Yeah,
and
no.
like they just dress her up. She looks so completely obvious.
I just
they
love-
throw her out in the wolves, and they're like.
I just love how it was like, oh, they won't even know. They're just expecting so-and-so to... The moment she opens the door, everyone's like, it's
Oh,
not
that's
him!
not him! Yeah. And he's like, oh, it's just like Nicaragua. She's like, I got shot in Nicaragua. It's nothing like Nicaragua.
Like,
Great scene. But no, my favorite probably would have to go... I like a couple scenes. I do love the scene where he finally goes into the party that's set up where Van Von Cunth there.
walks in, just...
Yeah, and the girl's like, do you want me to take your stereo? And he's like, not a chance.
He's like, nice try or something.
Yeah, nice
like
try.
that.
Yeah, exactly. God, I think my favorite scene though, hands down, like overall, might be the scene where he sets up the training set up with all of his squad,
all the wrestling
WWE guys, and then just as the plan's about to go into motion, he's talking to his guys. He's like playing with the remote. Detonates the fucking truck.
Oh, no, not even
Then
detonate.
he has like the most dramatic scream in the air. It's hilarious, dude.
No,
So
that
good.
was the best way to end the wrestling cameo, without a doubt. So, all right, mine would probably, and this isn't even like a major scene in the movie. A lot of people will probably find it dumb, but for some reason, I laughed my ass off. Macgruber never uses a gun throughout the whole movie. He just rips everybody's throat out. Like, that's his thing. He just rips your throat out.
At one point when he's at that party, he looks at the guy. He's like, "You're the small one, so you're gonna get the throat
Throat
ripped."
ripped.
Like, I love his. I'm sorry, I can't go on for days about the dialogue.
No, but when it comes to that, it's he finally has to just end up like just grabbing him and go, and he's like, I don't know how. So just the way he comes out, he's like, with Uzis, and he's just going all wild, like he has no idea what he's doing. He's like, I hit a barrel. Like, I don't know what it was about that, but it was fucking hilarious. Because Philippe's walking him through how to use a gun in a gunfight, and just, this is fantastic.
It is fucking hilarious. So yeah, we really wanted to spend some time just kind of talking about this. A lot of people I know may not have even have watched this, or they may know it exists and don't feel interested. Please overcome that and give this a shot. The only way I know of to watch it is on Stars. If you have a Hulu account, you can always connect that to your Starz account and watch it that way as well. It's
And,
on Amazon Prime as well.
I'm sure it gets tossed around, so it eventually will be on a streaming service that you need, or that you have. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today. And like before, make sure you like, share,
and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.
And have a good one.
See you next time.